Yo, what is up? Look where I'm at. I swear to God, I always find these gems like on the last day. Alright, this is literally take 3 of trying to explain my thoughts on Chiang Mai. I did one in Chiang Mai and it was not good. It was filled with filler words and me saying and not finishing my sentences. Then I come back here and I try and do the same, but it's filled with fucking ums again. So hopefully this one is gonna be better. So, Chiang Mai. I'm not in Chiang Mai anymore, as you can see. Well, you can't see, but I am in Pai. Fuck. I'm a little bit behind the whole vlog thing, but fuck. My hair's a little fucked up because I've been running around with that scooter all day. Anyway, Chiang Mai. Awesome place. Fuck, I'm a little bit hyped up because I want to get this right for the 3rd time, not fucking have to do it for the 4th time. So, actually, let me put my hat on. It's gonna be better. So, Chiang Mai. So, day 1. The bougiest hostel ever, the fanciest hostel ever. Super nice. Not so social, but super nice. I met this American digital nomad and we went to lunch together the next day. And by then I haven't really tried street food yet. I was a little bit hesitant because of the food poisoning and stuff. So I wouldn't know what to do if he hadn't introduced and said, listen, let's just go there, you're gonna love it. Ended up going there every day for a week when I was there. I feel like the nastier the place looks, the better the food. Couldn't be more true. Also, another interesting thing that he said, he's been out for 3 years traveling. He has this thing where he does hostels throughout the week at a different place than he has hostels during the weekend, because he wants to work during the week. That's why we met at this fancier, less social place, but he wants to go out at the weekend. That kind of felt like, damn, that's gotta write that one down if I ever do become a digital nomad, which honestly it's kind of growing on me. And then Chiang Mai as a city is very nice. It's the old quarter is this square place with walls and a river. Not really a river, it's a moat. I think that's what it's called. And it's filled with thrift stores, Westerner restaurants, places to chill. Like I said in the earlier vlog, I just spent a lot of my time in the Blooming Moon hostel. Such a chill vibe. But what the only complaint that I have about Chiang Mai is it's a little bit westernized, in the sense that in Bangkok you got to see a lot more Thai people than Westerners. In here the roles were reversed. You got to see a lot of seniors, just old people on vacation, a lot of digital nomads as well. And it's great if you want to meet people, but it gives you less of that feel of the culture. I actually went thrifting and found this really old jacket that kind of looks like what your grandpa would wear, but I absolutely love it. I've been wearing it ever since. And then also I went to see the elephants. The elephants were amazing. I was actually suggested to go to another place, but it was fully booked. So I ended up just booking through the place that I rented my moped. It was about 1,000 baht, which is honestly worth it. You don't see a lot of, well, they don't actually have, I think it's like only 5% or so places where you can actually ride the elephant because it's not ethical. And so you get to bathe with them, you get to feed them. They're honestly lovely. It was a nice time. And then what I also wanted to talk about was a little bit of a rabbit hole that I got myself into with the history of Thailand. I didn't see as much in Bangkok as I saw in Chiang Mai. These little houses they have in front of the actual house. It's like a little diorama. It has like little small statues of Buddha sometimes, and offerings of juices or food even. And I was like, what is that? I ended up Googling the thing, and it's this old tradition that dates back thousands of years, yeah. And it got me to actually buy this book. And what I found out is that Thai history is actually really interesting. If you're a little bit, malnourished in the dopamine section, you might want to skip this one. But I just felt like, since it was my vlog, which means it kind of covers my interests, this being one of them, I want to talk about it a little bit. So a little history lesson for y'all. So what I actually found out was, very interestingly, something that I'm gonna need in the future when I see Angkor Wat in Cambodia. It was actually the Khmer Empire having the presence in the Angkor Wat that was a very influencing factor in the beginning stages leading up to the 13th century. It was more present in the south, not as much in the north, where I stayed in Chiang Mai. But it was still very interesting that up to the 13th century, Thailand didn't have like a kingdom that was unifying until this one kingdom came to be called Sukhothai. Sukhothai was created in the 13th century, and along with it came the alphabet. At around the same time, in the north, the Lana kingdom was created by King Mangrai. At first, it wasn't in Chiang Mai that the province's capital was, but it was later moved to Chiang Mai. And the reason it was built in this square shape that I mentioned before with a moat was to protect itself against any sort of attacks from both Mongols and the Sukhothai in the south. I want to kind of stop a little bit before continuing on to explain the spirit houses that I was telling you about that got me interested in the history. It was especially in the north, but also throughout the whole of Thailand, that these animistic beliefs started to pop up. And the reason for the spirit houses was that they believed that everything had spirits. So trees, rivers, stones, everything has these spirits. So what happens when you cut something down, like a tree? You want to build a house, you have to cut down the trees, you have to make the terrain for it. These spirits are then displaced. So they believe that in order to bring upon good faith, you have to attract the positive spirits and nurture these spirits and have a place for them where they can live, and that is the spirit house. And that just seems super interesting, especially because it stayed even after Buddhism came to be. Whereas in Europe, for example, we also have these pagan or animistic beliefs that got destroyed when Christianity came to be. But here, when Theravada Buddhism came to be, it didn't destroy any of these beliefs. So that was super interesting to me. And also the whole history of Thailand, well, not the whole, but some of it were kind of friendly. The guy that created the Lana kingdom, King Mangrai, I read in the book that there was this one time where he was about to fight this other nation, and he just went to see the king of the nation and befriended him, and they just kind of resolved that issue like that. That felt interesting to me. So then Sukhothai in the south, kind of loses its power and another kingdom rises called the Ayutthaya. I don't know if it's pronounced Ayutthaya or Ayutthaya. I've seen different pronunciations, but anyway, it comes to be a very powerful force. The reason for it is that only some nations got to trade with China, which was at the time a very powerful nation. Well, still is, but so the nations that got to trade with China became very powerful, and Ayutthaya was one of them. And then another reason was because they had an army of elephants, which came to be very, very powerful in war. Ayutthaya later on kind of lessened its power, and so did Lana. But another nation was coming up and getting more and more powerful, which was the Burmese. Now it's called Myanmar, but at the time it was the Burmese Empire, which in the 16th century invaded the Lana kingdom and the Ayutthaya kingdom. And that began for Lana a long period of 200 years where it became a vassal state, as did Ayutthaya. So this one guy called Taksin, who was a governor at Ayutthaya, became very powerful and fought off the Burmese. He also moved the capital to Thonburi, which is a little bit outside of Bangkok. It was only later when the Shakri dynasty moved the capital to Bangkok, and the Shakri dynasty still rules today. I kind of feel that's enough for today. Jesus, I feel like a fucking professor in here. That's enough for today, class. Anyway, listen, I'm just nerding out about it. But that's it for the day. I hope it's not been boring. I hope it kind of got you a little bit interested in the history. But yeah, I'm now in Pi. Big things coming in Pi. I did a lot in Pi, so if this vlog wasn't interesting to you, hopefully the next one will be.